Hello, beautiful people. We're starting another episode of Nilda Unfiltered. You know that this space we've created between you and me is shaped by the questions you send to the team, and the team passes them on to me, and then I answer them three at a time. Today we're going to have three questions, and the first one is, my boyfriend is unfaithful, but I don't want to confront him. All right, why don't you want to confront him? Where does that come from? Are you afraid he'll leave? Are you afraid he'll break up with you? Are you afraid he'll get angry? Are you afraid of any kind of thing? Well, then we're going to have a problem because relationships that are based on fear end up in terror. And that's telling us about something that's not working well, something that works with a lot of effort with, I don't do this because he might get angry. I don't do that because, and I don't do this and I don't do that. And yes, dear, wherever and however you want. And I go out of my way to please him, and I go out of my way so that he's always happy. And what's the consequence? That he has someone else. That's the logical consequence. Nobody wants to be with their own shadow, right? With someone who has no will of their own, no life of their own, no light of their own, and who gets angry and stressed and happy and laughs and cries and who actually lives life, who experiences life, yes, not just a shadow, not just I am whatever you need me to be, my love. That just doesn't work anymore these days. Maybe it never really worked, but before, things were measured by a different standard. But it can also come from other places, right? Maybe you don't want to confront it because you're also willing to have other boyfriends or girlfriends. He has his own life, I have my own life, but everything we do share is so good and so enjoyable that I choose to enjoy what we do have, what we do share, the part where our lives are complementary and the relationship is reciprocal. And well, he also has some, desires to meet more people and, to have a good time in places different from yours. If you also have friends, trips, a career, sports, hobbies, places where you have a good time without that person, then it's good not to confront them. Why would you confront them? Everyone has a shared life and, on the other hand, an individual life. And if both of you are comfortable with that, then that's great. This is actually quite easy to manage when you live in separate houses. When you live together in the same house, it's a bit more complicated because then you do know when they come in, when they go out, who they come in with, even if you don't know exactly, let's say you more or less find out about each other's comings and goings, and that would be good. Okay. But there's another possibility, which is that he does have other people to share his life with, but he doesn't want you to, or forbids you from having other ways to share your life with other people. If that's the case, then we're talking about relationships that don't promote or build reciprocity. And this also always ends up with an overload, with a sense of injustice, with a feeling of inadequacy, with emotions that are unpleasant and not at all constructive. And so in the short, or perhaps the medium term, or at most just a little bit longer than the medium term, that particular relationship inevitably ends, and it often ends with significant complaints, right? In the classic, I've given you absolutely everything, and just look at how you choose to repay me, right? And this is a big lesson because it tells us that, relationships aren't about giving in order to collect, right? Relationships are reciprocal, right? I always feel that I am free to be myself, and so is the other person, and what we each receive from one another, right? What I get from the other person, what the other gets from me, motivates us or gives us a sense of nourishment, of greater well-being. I prefer to be with that person rather than alone because it helps energize all my personal processes, right? So this can be a very good idea. Okay, different ways and reasons for not confronting. The second question, how do you keep the relationship alive? Look, right now, and because this question comes up so often, the team suggested that I create a course about seduction. Seduction is an art. No one is born knowing how to seduce. It is something you cultivate. And it's the art of creating through creativity and playfulness, something that, when I look at myself in the mirror, brings a smile to my face, right? Imagine, I always like this metaphor. Imagine a mime, imagine yourself all painted white, interacting with the mirror but without words, and how you let yourself go. Are you able to have fun with yourself? Self-seduction is a way to always keep yourself alive, joyful, clear, honest, and without any masks. We start by seducing ourselves. From there, we move on to seducing life itself, right? Everything that is the pleasure of living. So that's when we dance. We invite life to dance with us, and we dance with life, right? And this is an exercise in well being, in harmony, in inner congruence between what we think, feel, and do. When we've learned to seduce ourselves in life, then we could say we're ready to seduce other people, not just in romantic relationships, right? It's not about I win you over just to get you into bed with me. No, that has nothing to do with seduction, and that's highly destructive, right? Because that's pure violence. It's actually the complete opposite. I invite you to dance with me so that you have a good time, right? So it could be a friend, a classmate, students, neighbors, children. In other words, it's an attitude towards life, living by enjoying what you have, being grateful for what you have, expanding, cultivating the art of seduction. We are doing a 5-class course where we apply what seduction is and what seduction is not. And seduction is a central element for keeping the relationship alive in the present continuous. Let's say seduction keeps us going. Go on. Seduction as a way of life. Just as at another time we have talked about self-care as a way of life, seduction is part of that self-care because it always fills you with this innate joy that comes from within you with the sole purpose of making you responsible for your well-being and for what you have to offer to your loved ones and even those you don't love. I would even say those you respect, of course, your co-workers and so on. It's an attitude towards life. And this always leaves us with a smile. People like to be around those who radiate this inner congruence, this clarity, this honesty in showing themselves as they are. People who are always deceiving or thinking about what should I say or do so that the other person notices me and pays attention to me. Those kinds of things always end up wearing out and are of little to no use. So try cultivating the art of seduction as a way to keep the spark of life alive, to always keep the relationship vibrant. Okay, third question. It says, I'm very jealous and I don't know how to fix it. Well, this question comes up an incredible number of times from both women and men, from both sides. Well, you can't just fix that. You have to reflect on it and transform your way of seeing the world. What does this mean? Every time we think about something like, I don't know, my phone, my house, my car, my bike, my food, what does the brain do? The brain knows that if it's mine, then I'm going to do whatever I want with it, okay? Because it's mine, right? So if I want, I don't know, I wash it, I polish it, I take care of it, I put it away or not, and I lose it and neglect it and hit it, and the brain knows that what is mine, I can do whatever I want with it. When I think of a romantic relationship as something that belongs to me, what does the brain do? The same. He thinks that what I say is that he's my partner, but it turns out that he's a human being. I'm going to do with that person whatever I want. Then I'm going to determine what he thinks, what he feels, what he does, with whom he does it, when he does it, until when he does it, why he does it. I will determine everything. Because it's mine. Yeah. And how did it go? Terribly, right? Why? Because people can't be owned. People have their own lives, and they have the right to live their lives however they damn well please, just like you. You don't like it either when someone says, oh, don't wear that, don't go there, I don't like your friend, don't study that, hey, change your job already, they don't pay you well. Do you like getting that? No, right? Nobody likes to get that. Why? Because then your life starts to stop being yours, right? And it becomes someone else's life, not yours. And then there comes a point when the feeling of resentment, frustration, and even indifference truly starts to grow toward the people who do that. So I'm going to use a metaphor, but you have to be very clear that when jealousy comes in through the door, love goes out the window. There are neurotransmitters running through our bloodstream that are incompatible. No, there's no way to fix jealousy, right? You have to change your belief system. You have to change your concept of love. You have to completely transform your idea of what a romantic relationship is. No, that path is a dead end. Well, actually, there is a way out, and it's self-destruction, both of yourself and of the relationship. That's always the outcome of jealousy, right? Oh, no, if they're not jealous, they don't love me. No, come on, no. No, it's never like that. Never. Jealousy is never satisfied. There's always something more I'll ask you to sacrifice so that I can feel okay. What's the problem with that? That when how I feel depends on how other people behave out there, well, my life is no longer my own. It's whatever other people decide my life should be. Just imagine, I'm going to ask the weather to change because I don't like it when it rains, so I don't want it to rain, okay? I want it to always be sunny. And on top of that, I'm going to ask the government. I'm going to ask the government to change too, okay? To not do the things it does. Also, the dog, I'm going to ask the dog to change too, and the neighbors as well, and my coworkers and my friends. And I'm asking everyone in the world to change so that then when everyone changes, I'll feel good. Now, what are the chances that you'll ever feel good? Never. Why? Because your happiness isn't in your hands, it's in someone else's. Oh no, Nilda, but I don't ask everyone, just my partner. Okay. And how did that go for you? Not well, right? No, it doesn't work. It never works. So we have a tool called the key to heaven. If your problem, if what you feel, if all that jealousy isn't here in your hands, you'll never be able to solve it. As long as it depends on someone else, it's impossible to resolve. But if the jealousy is here in your hands, then you can dissolve it. But again, you have to change your concept of love, your concept of relationships, even the way you want and choose to see yourself, your self-image, your self-concept, your self-esteem, your self-efficacy, and so on. It will depend on this, on your inner self. If you change yourself, the jealousy really does disappear. If you get stuck, if you get caught up in romantic love, the kind of love from Disney, from soap operas, from boleros and rancheras and so on, that kind of love where you say, I die for love because love hurts. If you're in all that, there's no solution. And you're going to end up destroying every relationship that gets filled to a greater or lesser extent with this emotion you call jealousy, okay? Well, I hope I answered all three questions. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Click the bell so you keep getting all the notifications about these conversations we have in our everyday lives.